So, friends, I want to take some time today talking about an important new opinion and order by a federal judge in Texas, Judge David Briones. Judge Briones, in a 37-page opinion, has some choice words for the abysmal work of Trump administration officials Pam Bondi and Kristi. So we're going to start with the new reporting, but then we're going to dig into some of this new opinion and order from Judge Briones. But let's start with this from the Washington Post. Headline: Judge orders release of Venezuelan couple accused of being alien enemies. In a sharply worded ruling, a federal judge said the government failed to provide the court with substantial evidence showing that the couple were members of a gang and subject to deportation. A U.S. District Court judge has ordered two Venezuelan nationals living in D.C. to be released from immigration custody, saying the federal government has failed to provide substantial evidence to declare either of them was an alien enemy, warranting removal under President Donald Trump's order invoking the Alien Enemies Act. The decision, issued Friday by El Paso-based senior U.S. District Judge David Briones, marks the first time a judge has ruled that the Trump administration had erred in classifying somebody as an alien enemy and ordered a release. Many of the relatives and attorneys for men the Trump administration has sent to El Salvador under the Alien Enemies Act have strongly denied that they are Tren de Aragua gang members. The Supreme Court ruled that the government needed to give anyone labeled an alien enemy a chance to contest that designation in court. The judge in El Paso also went a step further in specifying that going forward, the government must provide detainees 21 days to contest their status, and they must be given a notice in a language they can understand. The Trump administration, in a separate case, recently shared a sample notification form in which those labeled alien enemies were given 12 hours to state whether they plan to contest that designation. So, friends, we're going to take some time going through this 37-page order from Judge Briones. Here's the name of the case. The two Venezuelan immigrants, this couple, are Julio Cesar Sanchez Fuentes and Lourdes Norelia Sanchez Garcia. They are the petitioners versus several Trump administration officials, including Kristi and Pam Bondi, respondents. So as we're working our way through this opinion, I'll refer to them as either Bondi and Nome or the respondents in the case. Okay, now let's work our way through some of the important passages. This from page 14. While in ICE custody in El Paso, petitioners, that's the Venezuelan couple, were allegedly provided with a document in English, a language that neither of them reads, speaks, or understands, as notice of their designation as alien enemies. Petitioners' attorneys were not provided with a copy of the notice or with any information about their earliest removal date, despite repeated requests. Now, the judge goes on to highlight that the respondents, Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, and others, had provided virtually no evidence supporting their claim that this Venezuelan couple were dangerous gang members who needed to be deported, but instead, they just kept asking for continuances. They wanted more time, more time, more time. And the judge said the following: this court swiftly denied respondents' motion to extend time, and here are some of the observations by Judge Briones. To date, respondents have not provided this court with a single reason as to why petitioners have been designated as alien enemies. To date, respondents have not provided this court with a single reason which would warrant rearrest and incarceration by ICE. To date, respondents have not provided the court with any information that would be materially helpful in determining whether petitioners are being unlawfully detained in violation of their TPS, their temporary protected status. To date, Respondents, Pam Bondi and Kristi, have not provided the court with anything useful. Respondents declare, without providing this court with a single piece of meaningful evidence, that petitioners, this Venezuelan couple, are members of Tren de Aragua. Judge Briones then goes on to emphasize the importance of the Fifth Amendment's due process rights and guarantees. It is well established that the Fifth Amendment entitles aliens to due process of law in the context of removal proceedings, deportation proceedings. Detainees under the Alien Enemies Act are entitled to notice and opportunity to be heard, appropriate to the nature of the case. While the president, that would be Donald Trump, claims grave national defense concerns in its TDA proclamation, Tren de Aragua, the dangerous Venezuelan gang that has invaded the United States, while the president claims grave national defense concerns, it would indeed be ironic if, in the name of national defense, we would sanction the subversion of one of those liberties, our due process rights, which make the defense of the nation worthwhile. To which I say, amen. Thank you, Judge Briones, for calling out the Trump administration's bullshit. My editorial edition. Respondents, Pam Bondi and Kristi, have not shown that petitioner Sanchez Garcia is a TDA member, let alone a senior member, by even a preponderance of the evidence, much less the required clear, unequivocal, or convincing evidence standard. Petitioner Sanchez Garcia, therefore, cannot be designated an alien enemy pursuant to the TDA proclamation and the Alien Enemies Act, and must be released. And friends, now, here's some really good and important stuff Judge Briones decided to include in his opinion and order. And just so I can set it up, this Venezuelan couple was originally arrested in the D.C. area and was presented to a judge in the Eastern District of Virginia, Judge Briones, before this matter moved out to Texas. And Judge Briones thought it was important to quote some of what federal court Judge Briones, who's been a judge for decades, as has, I believe, Judge Briones, said about this matter, about these respondents, Pam Bondi, Kristi, and other Trump administration officials making this claim that this couple, they were dangerous gang members who had to be deported. Here is what Judge Briones quoted Judge Briones as saying, quote, Ludus, that's Miss Garcia, one of the petitioners, quote, Ludus is a senior member of the TDA, close quote. Then the judge says, how do you get that from somebody who was married possibly 10 years ago to a TDA gang member, marriage, all of a sudden she's a senior member? And here is what Judge Briones says about this so-called evidence that DOJ is submitting. This is terrible. This is a terrible, terrible affidavit. If this were before me in a criminal case and you were asking to get a warrant issued on this, I'd throw you out of my chambers. No agent should do this type of editorializing, not when people's liberty is at stake. I expect more from the government, the Trump administration, than this kind of very shoddy work. This is assumptions and putting words in people's mouths. You don't have it. It's not here. And then Judge Briones goes on to agree with those sentiments expressed by Judge Briones. Beyond these shoddy affidavits and contradictory testimony, respondents, Bondi and Noem, haven't provided membership at all as it relates to petitioner Sanchez Garcia. Respondents have not demonstrated to this court by a preponderance of the evidence, let alone the required clear, unequivocal, and convincing evidence that petitioner Sanchez Garcia is a member of TDA, nor that she is an alien enemy within the meaning of the TDA proclamation. This court is in complete agreement with Judge Brinkema's characterization of Bondi and Nome's evidence at the previous hearing. Quote, respondents don't have it. It's not here. For those reasons, this court is compelled to find that because Bondi and Nome have not shown that Petitioner Sanchez Garcia is a TDA member, she cannot be designated an alien enemy under the AEA pursuant to the TDA proclamation, and her continued confinement on these grounds is therefore unlawful. Petitioner Sanchez Garcia must be released. Oh, but friends, Judge Briones didn't stop there. This court takes clear offense to Pam Bondi and Kristi Nome's wasting judicial resources to admit to the court it has no evidence, yet seek to have this court determine Petitioner Sanchez Fuentes is guilty by association. This court found no need to even allow closing arguments. Accordingly, this from the judge. It is ordered petitioners Julio Cesar Sanchez Fuentes and Lourdes Norelia Sanchez Garcia shall be and are released from federal immigration custody effective immediately. It is further ordered that respondents, various Trump administration officials, including Kristi Nome and Pam Bondi, are enjoined, in other words, prohibited from detaining or redetaining these two petitioners, Fuentes and Garcia, on the basis of an alien enemy designation. It is finally ordered that the Trump administration officials, including Kristi Nome and Pam Bondi, shall not remove from the Western District of Texas or the United States of America any non-citizen detained in or held in federal immigration custody in the Western District of Texas who were, are, or will be subject to the March 2025 invocation of the Alien Enemies Act regarding the invasion of the United States by Tren de Aragua. And just so there's no mistaking about what the constitutional guarantee of due process requires, the respondents, Bondi and Nome, shall provide a 21-day notice to individuals detained, and will tell those individuals about their right to seek judicial review, and such notice must be given and written in a language the individual understands, period. Okay, friends, that was a lot, but I wanted to take some time to go through Judge Briones' opinion because, it highlights the lawlessness and the unconstitutionality of Donald Trump and his dirty administration officials that they are perpetrating day in and day out. And it also highlights the points of light out there, the Judge Brinkemas, the Judge Brioneses, who will not stand for Trump's lawlessness and unconstitutionality, because to them, like to us, justice matters.